What's up, guys? Hi, welcome to day 5 of the road to 140 kilogram bench press. As you guys know, this is a comprehensive full body muscle gaining process. I'm going to do a really serious bulk here, probably bulk to the heaviest, well, not probably, I am bulking to the heaviest I've ever gone to in my life. That's almost completely guaranteed, that I will hit 90 kilos and beyond in body weight. And I need to make sure that when I hit these body weights that I can keep bulking, because I've actually gained so much muscle that I won't be fat and I can just keep going a few extra kilos and actually just make the most of the bulking process. Really work on my weak points. One of them is my lower back, especially. Also my hamstrings and glutes maybe, but especially my lower back. So that's why I was doing Romanian deadlifts today, or at least that was a goal. I quickly realized that my grip failed way before my posterior chain, so I had to recalibrate here and do just regular deficit deadlift instead. So I did 5 sets to failure on the deficit deadlift to start off today's leg session, and that was it was pretty grueling. I mean, this workout right here, everything wasn't to failure because I didn't do every single set to failure, but every set in this workout was a really serious working set. I would say 70% of the sets that I did today, everything except for the lunges, was to failure. And in the case of my ab work, my grip unfortunately failed first. But this was a really productive workout. I would say that I put the most effort into my deadlifts, the first exercise, and into the calf raises, which was the last exercise. And that's another thing that I want to talk about with you guys. Maybe you guys are bulking and you have untapped potential. Maybe you have a muscle group which you've just ignored for your entire life. In my case, I started my fitness journey kind of in the 3-minute abs type of stuff. Not really, but I was looking up ab workouts and stuff when I was really young, just wanted to get a six-pack. And, I just kind of fell off the ab training when I realized that, abs are made in the kitchen and you just need to get jacked everywhere else. And, that's an issue because I have really thin abs, like the actual abdominals themselves. Like for some reason, my obliques are quite thick and look good when I flex them, but my abs are quite thin. Like, not only do my abs have a weird like shape because I'm just born like that, but they're quite thin, which I think that's just an issue of I don't have a lot of muscle there. I'm not that strong in my abs, I'm probably stronger in my obliques, like I said, and in my lower back, even though my lower back is weak as well, which is a big part of why I'm doing these deadlifts here. And the way I've kind of decided to do this is I put the deadlifts on the lower body day, like the leg day here, and I don't do anything that really taxes my lower back on the pull day instead. So on my pull day, I do inverted rows. I'm going to do upright rows probably, and like chin-ups, pull-ups, that type of stuff. I'm not going to be hitting heavy barbell rows so that I can hit, some serious deadlifts here on the leg day. And that's the plan. Because even though I'm splitting everything up into a legs push-pull, with a lot of that training volume going to the upper body, I really need to work on my legs. And while I'm working on my legs, I really can't neglect my lower back and hamstrings, which both my lower back and my hamstrings, I think, are one of the weakest muscles in my body compared to everything else. And it just so happens that the lower back and hamstrings are like maybe two in the top 5 most important muscles for health and injury prevention and actually being athletic and being able to lift heavy stuff in real life. So, you don't want to be the guy who has chest and biceps. In my case, I have kind of like lats and shoulders and stuff, but I don't have, and quads, my quads are okay, but I don't have the hamstring and I don't have the lower back. So when I get access to better gym equipment, which will be very shortly here, since I'm going to be in school for the most part, I'm going to really use that chance to hit hamstrings on a machine. So I'm going to do hamstring curls, but I'm not going to lose sight of the most important basic exercises like the heavy squats, the heavy deadlifts, I really, really, truly believe that you're not going to get the same level of complete leg development from doing leg extensions and hamstring curls. And you're definitely not going to get the same level of strength and athleticism, because the squat and the deadlift, they build all of the muscles in the lower body. Not every single muscle is going to be built super efficiently, but you're going to be able to use your body in unison. You're going to build your lower back whether you want to or not. You're going to build your glutes whether you want to or not. I think a lot of bodybuilders lose sight of the glutes. Like a lot of bodybuilders, they just want to isolate the quads and hamstrings, but they're forgetting that the glutes are an extremely important muscle for kicking, running, jumping, standing and walking, everything lower body related. Your glutes are an incredibly important muscle, one of the biggest and one of the strongest muscles in your body, and you're just going to ignore them because you're a male. Like, this bulk, I'm going to really focus on the glutes, and what's going to happen? Like, yeah, I'm going to get a big bum, and people are going to say that, oh, you have a really nice ass, and they're going to be weird with it, but so what? Like, I can run through a fucking wall, and that's the point. Like, you don't want to be the guy who's fucking insecure about having a big ass so you don't train it. You want to be the guy with slightly obnoxiously large buttocks, but at least you can fucking squat 200 plus kilos deep as fuck. That's the guy you want to be. At least that's the guy I want to be. And I want my subscribers to be, because I don't want you guys just going in here hitting the show muscles. Because the thing is, everything is a show muscle. Like, you might not think that the glutes, oh, well, no one's going to see my glutes. Trust me, they're going to see your glutes. Like, if you have a completely flat bum, you just look weak, and that's because you are. Your ass is a super important part of your body, for aesthetics, and most importantly for performance. And that's why I'm doing these reverse lunges as well. I'm actually really happy with these. I went way too light on the first set here, and I got 51 reps, so that was just grueling and horrible and way too much. I went heavier later and kind of solved that problem, although they were still uncomfortable. But these actually hit my quads really well, and they hit my glutes. So I'm happy with this exercise right here. I'm going to keep it in my tool bag and probably do these 1 day a week while I do squats the other day. So this workout, I started off with deadlifts and then I did lunges. My other leg workout every week, I'm probably going to start off with squats and then do deadlifts. So, just kind of using a little bit of variation here. This exercise is a bit easier kind of on your whole system than doing squats. And I think doing really heavy squats and really heavy deadlifts in the same session, that's really tough. Especially doing squats after deadlifts, I think that is an injury waiting to happen. Because when you're squatting with a fatigued back, you're going to good morning your squat, that's dangerous stuff. You don't want to be doing that. So I am going to keep these lunges in the rotation. They kind of, it's a bit easier to do lunges than to do heavy squats. Heavy squats are always very daunting and very scary and everything. So, that's a little bit of the reason. Another reason is I'm getting unilateral work. I know that my left leg is significantly weaker and I have way worse kind of feeling for that leg. And, my right leg is really a part of me and my body, and I can control it and feel it very well. My left leg is kind of just there. And it's the same thing with my left hand. I'm right-handed and very much right-legged as well. My left leg, I don't really have a good connection with that leg. And, it's like half a part of me, if that makes sense. It's mostly kind of like an automatic leg. I wouldn't use it for like sensitive things. Like if I were to dribble a football, maybe, I really wouldn't like to use my left leg more than like a supporting role. I would use my right leg, my dominant leg, much more. And that just kind of spills over into everything. I mean, my right leg is significantly stronger. I have better balance on that leg. So I think that, I've never really done unilateral leg work at all, and I don't think that that's going to be bad for me. I think it's going to be very good, but I just need to make sure that I actually push these lunges very hard so that they're not kind of like an easier version of squats, but that I actually suffer while doing these. So I figured out that 55, maybe even 60 kilos next workout is probably like a good weight where I can actually use proper form on these, and get a lot out of it, do enough reps, but it's not so light that my set is 2 minutes long and I'm doing 51 reps like the first set here, because that was just, really painful. You get really fatigued, but at least, I'm in good shape right now. Like, my cardio is pretty good. I actually missed my session yesterday. I was supposed to run yesterday, but I filled my day with a bunch of other fun stuff and important stuff, and time ran out. So I went to bed on time, pretty much, almost, instead of running, and I think that was a good decision. Although obviously I could have kind of lived out that day a little bit differently. I know certain activities which I could have removed to get the running in. So, obviously, if I wanted it bad enough, I would have done it, but I didn't want it bad enough. I wasn't willing to move a bunch of other things and be preemptive enough to get it done. I had a really long afternoon block of a certain activity, which took a really long time. But if I had done the training before that, for example, I would have got it done. So, yeah, I don't want to make excuses, because that's not how you win. I'm just going to continue with my training here. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on today's leg session. Like, my legs are in serious pain right now. Actually, that's a lie. That's not true. Like, they're not hurting a lot. They definitely will hurt tomorrow, but they feel quite numb and weak, and standing up, walking up and down stairs is a challenge, and tomorrow they're absolutely going to hurt. How much, I'm not sure, but probably pretty much, quite much rather. And I will be doing more forestry work tomorrow, because I work in the forestry industry. I walk a lot. My job is active, and I'm on my feet, a certain amount of hours per day, not 8 hours per day, but, I probably average, realistically, 4 hours of walking a day, like maybe somewhere around that range. And, when you have really sore legs, that's going to be a challenge, but it is what it is. I really want to get big legs from this bulk. Like, I'm going to maximize it, and I'm really going to put some effort into my abs, neck, and calves on this bulk, because, especially like the calves, I've never had a consistent period where I train my calves at all. I don't think I've trained my calves longer than 1 month at a time, ever. And I wouldn't say that my calves I wouldn't say that they're at an intermediate level. I would say that they're at a novice level. And if I were to train them really hard, this entire bulk, I may get them close to an intermediate level for me and my genetics. But probably, to be honest, I'm going to have to train them for years to get them to an intermediate level. But I really hope, I don't know, but I hope that my calf genetics are a lot better than I ever thought, and that they do have a significant, actually gain significant mass in them. That would be really, really fun and gratifying. Truly, I would be so grateful if my calves actually really responded to the training that I'm going to put in here over the course of 6 months to a year, however long this bulk takes me. Yeah, I'm not going to let off on the calf training. I'm going to do 3 sets, 3 sets per leg workout. I'm going to do 2 leg workouts a week. So I'm going to hit my calves with 6 sets to failure per week, as opposed to my regular 0. And it's going to have some effect. I really hope that the effect will be visible and tangible, and not just be like maybe a centimeter on the circumference or something stupid which you can't even see. I really hope that my calves respond unreasonably much, and I actually get a big reward. So yeah, I'm really hoping on that, as you can hear. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm done talking. So I will see you guys tomorrow for my push day. Goodbye.